What? No theme music, nah?
Gusto, now Chris the host. Man, I make a little dinner whilst passing joke. Come to the yard, get it off your chest. There's no hard feelings when you're rocking with the best. Everything's crisp, everything's nice. Throw a little sugar, add a little spice. Ask all questions, cook a little rice. Gamble like Vegas and throw a little dice.
Raise your glasses, make a toast. Drop by Chris for a Sunday roast. Or 8 days of his mixology. Get twisted and not off the Hennessy. Now your belly's full, play a game of ball. Gusto, he's coming from the old school. No if buts, maybes, whys. No silly questions, I tell no lies.
Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.
Live talks with the vet, Lasker.
Yeah.
What's going on, Chris? How you doing, man?
How you doing, Drew, man? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just playing daddy duty. So if you guys see my daughter running around and screaming, I apologize. That's my life at the moment.
Yeah, tell her to jump on, man.
She probably would love it. What's going on, man?
I'm all good, man. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. As good as I can be during these times.
That's it, man. Got to occupy yourself. Appreciate you taking the time out while you got the time to come on.
No doubt. My pleasure.
Yeah, man. No worries, man. And how you been dealing with this lockdown, man? How you been dealing with the quarantine? See, you been doing a lot, man.
Man, I honestly, I got used to it. The very first day, it was tough because it was so abrupt. We went from playing the trophy finals, winning the trophy finals, celebrating, into straight into lockdown. So, and you know, the way my day is, I'm always here, there, everywhere, back and forth from the house all day, from being in the house all day. So it was a little bit of struggle, but from that day, I kind of told myself, I was like, I can kind of see where this is going. I need to kind of get myself lined up. So I started, you know, teaching basketball, free basketball classes on Facebook Live. And then from there, that's spurred into having online camps. And that's kept me going, to be honest.
Oh, man. That's good, man. I see that. I was meant to come down to your finals. I was planning to come down to that. But with the COVID and all that kicked in, my main thing was to come and network. But then when all this COVID kicked in, it was like, it would have been a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, for sure.
Traveling and all that, but it's good to see you're good, man, and all that.
Yeah.
How was the finals anyway? I watched that game online.
It was, man, I think from like a spectator standpoint, like it had to be like amazing, like with everything that followed going into quarantine, like no more basketball anywhere in the world after that, and you be able to go out with a game like that. Like it was amazing from a spectator when I went and watched it back, and then being involved in it, it was just amazing. Like the storyline behind it all, like, you know, with us having half our team and two of our guys coming off an injury, like it was just poetic justice in my mind, and it was fun, man. It was fun, and be able to lift that trophy, and to be honest, to be able now that the BBL officially, you know, made the announcement that the league's over, we finish as the champs. You know, not the league champs, but we're the last team standing, basically. Champs. Yeah, exactly.
I watched that game on BBC live. It was nerve-wracking for me. It was just like, oh, they scored. Oh my God, they got. I was like, oh, they got scored to go to overtime. They scored. I'm like, oh, it's overtime. I was like, oh no, this is crazy. I was just.
First of all, who were you rooting for? Is the real question.
You know what, right? It was one of those ones. Whoever won it would have been a good one, man.
You can keep it 100. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, man, both teams were doing well, man. So, you know, it was good. But I knew, obviously you don't had the experience, so experience was going to come through eventually. But
yeah,
it was a nerve-wracking game, man. I was on the train as well watching it, so I was screaming and people were looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, I'm watching basketball, no way.
It was theatric, man. Back and forth, play after play, like it was crazy, man.
They put up a fight, man. It was a it was a good game, man. Loved it, man. Congratulations to you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Man. So getting into it, man. Where is it you grew up then, though, man?
I'm actually from the place where George Floyd is from Houston, Texas. So I'm from an area called Katy, Texas, which is a suburban
Yeah.
area outside of Houston. And yeah, man, so I'm from Houston. I mean, I lived a lot of different places. I'm a military kid. My dad was
Okay.
22 years in the Army, so I moved everywhere, but we ultimately ended up settling in Houston. That's where my family's from anyway. So after moving, living in Germany, Kentucky, Tennessee, we ended up settling back in Texas.
All right, Texas. All right. And that's where some of the other guys are from, the Slim Thugs and the Mike Jones
There
and
you
all them.
go.
Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
Wall,
Oh,
Beyonce,
yeah, but
Kelly
oh yeah,
Rowland to go
Beyonce.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
Beyonce like
yeah, I
15
forgot.
minutes from me.
Damn.
Yeah, right up
So
the
what?
street.
What was your Dallas, San Antonio, Houston?
Oh, Houston, all day, all day. If yeah, if someone heard me claim Dallas, like, they might be protesting outside my door. That's how serious it is. Yeah, man, you Houstonians, we got to rock the Houston. And the thing is, people don't realize, like, we got Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Austin,
Yeah,
but they're all really far. Like, I'm 4 hours from Dallas, so it's not
it's
close.
it's it's far. Yeah, they're not. They're
Yeah,
very big. They're very big distances
yeah.
away. Not
Texas is
close.
a huge state, so everywhere is really, really far.
It's like basically that's like going from London to Newcastle to Dallas and Texas distance.
Pr
That is a
Pretty much, pretty
that
much. Yep,
is
big
not
difference.
close. That's a
You're
big
just not gonna hop in your car and drive to Newcastle, are you? From London.
no.
That's you
Got
have
a
to
plan.
you gotta exactly you gotta plan that. So if you're going to Dallas, you better plan it. Ain't no, oh, let's go to Dallas today. Nah, you gotta plan that.
Nah, we got to plan that, right?
Yeah,
No, we go
yeah,
next week. Yeah, I'm going to Newcastle next week. Yeah, we go next
yeah,
week.
exactly. And you better get your hotel because you ain't going and coming back in the
No,
same day either.
no, no.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that in the same day business, you gotta be leaving early in the morning and the last train at night. Other than that, it's not
Yeah,
happening.
yeah,
Not
exactly.
happening. Oh man. So when did you get into basketball, man?
Well, my first memories of hooping was when I was in Germany. I played for a little club team there, and then when I moved back to the States, I started following Michael Jordan. That's when I first kind of learned about Michael Jordan, and then
Yeah.
that's when I like really took it seriously. That's when I fell in love with it. MJ became my hero, and that's when I wanted to be an NBA player. I wanted basketball to be my life. So that's kind of where that came from. And it's
Oh,
kind of fitting that
yeah, yeah.
The Last Dance has just wrapped up. So it's been great for me,
Oh
man.
man.
To see my hero behind the scenes, like, it's been amazing, man.
I didn't want that to end, man. I wanted that to keep going.
Man, I could have easily watched 50 episodes. I got one more to watch, and I'm saving it to 2021 just so I don't want it to be over with.
Saving that.
I'm
Save it while
saving
you
it.
can.
I got it in the back pocket, man.
Stay
Yeah,
in the stash. Yeah, I hear
yeah.
that. I hear that. So what was your first basketball experience? You remember?
My very first, I just like growing up in Germany, I don't remember playing basketball that often. I just remember being part of a team, and I just remember like one practice, after practice, the whole team got some like popsicles or whatever.
Yeah.
Dad brought some popsicles, and then we were driving back home, and me and my friend was in the front seat, and as we're driving, we went over some train tracks, and our door kind of flew open. So,
Yeah.
and I remember like my dad driving and like trying to close the door, and yeah, so
Oh damn.
that's my first memory of really playing until I got to back to the States, and then that's when I obviously started playing more regularly. But yeah, that's my first memory of me playing,
Okay.
man.
That's dope, man. And then afterwards you went to high school. What college did you play at?
I played at a school called Point Loma Nazarene University, which is in
Yeah.
San Diego, California, right on the cliffs. It's a beautiful school, man. So I was able to play there coming from Houston. It wasn't easy. Like, my high school journey was crazy. I sat the bench a lot, you
Oh
know,
right.
didn't get a lot of love. It wasn't like I was one of these top players in the country, like a lot of guys that you see. Like, I was just an average player, just working hard, good old fashioned hard work, and just
Yeah.
played through adversity. Even, a lot of people in my position, they usually quit or give up when they're not playing. They're sitting on the bench, not getting an opportunity. But I just stuck with it, man, and, ended up parlaying that into a college scholarship.
All right, right. And then how many years at college? Was it 4 years, right?
Yeah, 4 years, 4 years
Yeah.
out there in San Diego. the school at the time was NAIA.
Yeah.
Now they are Division II, and they actually last year they actually had a guy that made it to the NBA, plays for the Spurs now. So yeah, man, that school's come a long way. Went from NAIA to a big time D2 school. Made it to the
Oh, oh.
championship game last year. So yeah, man, Point
And,
Loma's on the map now.
and at the same school, Kawhi Leonard went to as well. Is that a different one in San
No,
Diego?
he went to San Diego State. So that's
Okay.
literally about 10 minutes away. Huge difference. San Diego State's a huge school,
Yeah.
but it's right up the street. But Kawhi is younger than me, so he wasn't
It
there
was
when
around.
he wasn't even thought
Yeah.
of when I was in college, man. I finished
Yeah.
college a long time ago.
Then you finished college, and then afterwards, came over to UK, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that journey was crazy. I was a two-time All-American in college, had great stats,
Yeah.
led the league in rebounding as a guard. And, when it came to getting contracts, a lot of the coaches, I always came down to me and another guy, never got the job. And, they basically said my stats wouldn't translate because I played a small Division II school. I mean, a small NAIA school. So,
Yeah.
I ended up having to go with a traveling team called Athletes in Action and travel with them for a year, man, across the world. We went Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Israel. So basically, I had to go put my talent in front of coaches because the resume wasn't enough. And on the very last leg of the trip, which is a year after I graduated,
Yeah.
we went to Coventry and we had a workout there. It was supposed to be all these but BBL coaches, English coaches, and there
Yeah.
was only one, Gary Stronach. And,
One coach.
one coach, and 15 minutes into the workout, 20 minutes, I pulled my hamstring. So I'm done. So I'm thinking, man, this is over with. I've been doing this for a year. So, I guess it's time to go look for a job. But after that session, Gary had a conversation with my coach and wanted to speak further. And I was surprised because, like I said, I only had practice for 20 minutes. And yeah, man, he asked for some tape, and the rest is history. So if it wasn't for Gary Stronach, you would have never heard of Drew Lasker.
Oh, was it so when you went to Coventry, what team was it for you went to first? Was Plymouth the team you went to first, or was it Newcastle you've been at?
No, it was Plymouth. He was the coach of Plymouth. He had drove
Yeah.
up to Coventry to kind of scout some talent, look for some
That's a
talent.
far
So
drive, boy.
yeah, exactly.
You're
So
driving from nothing, but he's coming back with something.
yeah, but you have to imagine though, these are the
Yeah.
times when I first came in the league, there was no, YouTube and all this other stuff. Like, coach had to drive to scout teams. I remember he would have to drive down to London to go scout the London Towers because it wasn't like the games were on TV.
Yeah.
It took like 3 days for guys to send VHS tapes, 3 business days. So he had to drive to Sheffield, all these places, and go scout, man.
And how was that though? Like from obviously I knew what it was like as well for some of you guys, but from your perspective, how hard was it to get noticed without all this social media and YouTube now that we all have all this stuff we access? How hard was it for you? And what was it like going to the tryouts with that mindset, like, right, I've got to play because
Yeah.
if I don't say what I can do now, I might not get this opportunity again. As where now they can look at tapes and go, oh, you can do this, you can do that, I'll take him.
Yeah. I mean, well, back then they could still do that for the bigger schools, like the big UCLAs, the Dukes that's on TV all the time. But
Yeah.
for smaller schools, guys from smaller schools, it was tougher to get discovered because it wasn't, all these resources out. Now, if you're good, it's going to be hard to not be discovered because there's so much footage out there. But back then, like when I was told, my stats wasn't translating or would translate, I just had the mindset of, okay, well, take me over there and let me go show you. Like I thrived for the opportunity to play in front of coaches because I was like, they get to see me. Like that's even better than tape. Like, so, I was excited about that. I was excited about the challenge.
Yeah, man. And then afterwards, Plymouth. Talk us through that whole transition. So think about this now. So you're now coming from the US and you're going into the UK. How was that whole transition for you after you spoke to the coach and you went to Plymouth?
Well, man, after I was thrilled, man. It was like a relief. I went a year, chasing this dream. I was working full time because these trips that we took, they were like every other month. So I go back to Houston. I had moved back to Houston from San Diego with my grandma. I was working at Enterprise, rent a car, and getting up at 4:30, going to Lyft, work 11-hour shift, go back to the gym, go shoot, work on my game. So I did that for a year, man. So when I finally got that contract, it was like a relief, and I was like, I had the mindset that okay, now I'm here. Now the next challenge is I got to stay. I got to keep it. And that first year in Plymouth, it wasn't easy, man, because I had still some lingering issues from the hamstring injury that I suffered in that camp. And so I was not myself. We were 1-11. We were losing. And then on top of that, my grandma had passed. So I actually ended up having to go back home. And shout out to Gary Stronach, man, because like usually any other team, any profession, you're 1-11. That's a perfect opportunity for them to cut and bring in somebody fresh.
That's true.
But he told me, he said, take as much time as you want, go back, even pay for my flight home. And, I got a chance to kind of hit the reset button, get my hamstring healthy, get my mind right, and then come back. And we went on a run. We went on a hell of a run. We ended up finishing one game out of the playoffs behind Brighton. So,
Brighton at the time, yeah.
That's what Nick Nurse, shout out to Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse was the coach at Brighton. We finished one game behind them. And, that was a fun year, man. That's before Plymouth was Plymouth now. Like Plymouth at the time was just happy to be in the BBL. It was their second year in the BBL. So
okay.
it was like, God, we were like, we were professionals, but like it wasn't as serious as it is now. People were just happy we were in the BBL. So there wasn't any pressure. We just had to go and play. So, that was fun, man.
They're the only professional team in Plymouth at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good though. So how was it? So what is it like? What was Plymouth like back then to now? What you see it as now? Because from what I see it now, the atmosphere is crazy. It's amazing. The fans are behind the team, 100%. What was it like when you first got there, and now when you go there again as an opponent? What's the difference?
Oh, it was this. I mean, I feel like it was even better then. Like. Because then, like, it was more of like a family-run club, family atmosphere. And now, once money started getting involved, it got professional and politics and all that stuff. It was more ran like a business, So that kind of changed where it was like a family atmosphere. Everybody was there, shoulder to shoulder, and that was the thing to do on Sundays was to go to the Plymouth games. And man, I remember, but when Gary. When I signed my contract, I looked on the internet and looked at the atmosphere. I don't even know what it was. I think it might have been on their website. And I was like, man, they had fireworks going off, lights off. I was like, I got to be part of this. And those that have been down there, they play in like a theater. So the setup is like a theater where the seats are dark and the court is lit. Yeah. So yeah, man, it was so much fun. It really was. It really was.
That's dope, man. And then fast forward, you kind of you moved over to Newcastle. How did that all come about for you?
So in 2011, I had played at Plymouth for 5 years. I had decided that I was done with the BBL. I was going to move on. I had done everything individually that I could do in the league. And I was like, I'm going to Europe no matter what. So Plymouth offered me a great offer. But I turned it down. I said no. They kept offering me, and I just said no. I had my mind made up. Financially, I had enough saved where I could sit out a year, and I was like, I'm gonna roll the dice, and I ended up sitting out a year. Nothing actually worked out, and I actually signed for Newcastle in November of that season because Trey Moore broke his foot, so they brought me in towards the last month of the season. I finished off there, and then the following year, I mean, I did well. During the month I was there, that I was at Newcastle to the point where they wanted to bring me back. And the morning I was supposed to fly up to Newcastle the next year, I get a call from Paul Blake saying that the finances don't match up and they're going to have to play with an American short. So I ended up having to, the deal fell through. So I ended up going to Surrey later on that year for November. Guildford at that time. Guildford Heat
at the time.
Guildford Heat at the time. And I ended up finishing there. And then went back to Plymouth after that year. And then literally I thought, okay, I had turned 30. I was like, this is it for me. I'm going to finish my career here in Plymouth. My wife's from Plymouth, perfect. And the day after the playoff final, I get a message from Dave Forrester, who's the Newcastle Eagles assistant coach, asking me, what was I planning on doing for next year? And, and a long story short, I ended up relocating the family to the Northeast and being up here ever since.
All right, man. How's that been so far for you and your family, career-wise?
Yeah, it was the best thing that ever happened for my career because like my whole career from like sophomore in college all the way up to 2012, I had led every team I played on in scoring. I was the guy who had the ball, so I got the stats and all that. But I had never played for a team where I had played for nothing but teams. I played for teams that were underdogs. I had never played for a team that was like the team.
The team.
Yeah, and so like, coming to Newcastle, I knew that the individual part of my career was over with. I knew I would have to be more team focused, and I was
Yeah,
okay with that. I wanted to be part of a winner, part of a tradition, and I wanted to see if I could play with the pressure because people who don't play, you don't understand. Like anybody can go and score 20 on a sorry team
yeah,
or
easy.
put up
Anyone
numbers,
can do it.
but can you perform when you're playing on a team that is supposed to win every single game? You don't win trophies, it's a disappointment. Everybody is gunning for you. Can you perform
Yeah.
then? And I had never played on a team like that. All my teams, it was playing with house money. Like I was an underdog team. So, and I wanted to see if I could, if I could live up to that. So,
So how was that challenge different now? Because you gone in, that challenge is different as when you're underdog, you're going in to try and win and you're the underdog. But now when you're the top dog, you got a target on your back. So what was that? How was that different to being an underdog to having a target on your back? How did you take that? And
well,
how
it's
did you
just
see it?
it's just about pressure. When you play for an
Yeah,
underdog, there's no expectations. You're
yeah,
supposed to lose, so you play free. You shoot
yeah,
from anywhere, it doesn't matter. There's no repercussions,
yeah,
right? But
yeah.
when you play for a team that's supposed to win, every single possession matters, every single shot matters,
Everything.
and there's an added
Details,
amount
isn't
of
it?
yeah, there's an added amount of pressure on every single play. So, that's the difference, and that's mainly your mindset, right? You got to be mentally tough and mentally strong. And during my first year here, there was times where I did feel the pressure, and but after that, it became normal. I'm used to it now. So, but
Yeah,
it
man.
was an adjustment for sure.
That's good, man. That's good. And then talking of some of the challenges you face early on in your career, what kind of challenges did you face early on in your career when you came over to the UK? So what kind of challenges did you face coming into Plymouth? And then what challenges did you face going into Newcastle?
On the court or off the court?
More off the court challenges you reckon with
Off the
Plymouth and
court.
Newcastle.
Well, I mean, that's easy. My first year in Plymouth, I literally went from living in beautiful San Diego, California, to living in Plymouth to where I literally didn't see the sun for 45 days. It rained every single day. So that was a challenge. You go from
That's
somewhere that has the most beautiful weather in the world, is 70 degrees all year round, no matter what, till you go to a very wet,
it's
cold
rainy.
climate,
Welcome to
gray.
England.
That was tough, man. Like, and then on top of that, when you're losing, and then I was hurt, like all of that was tough, man. Like I sat in my room because my first year I didn't even have a TV in my room. I
Oh,
would sit
damn.
in my room with my laptop playing music and just be looking at my walls. And I mean, I don't know if I would go as far as saying as depressed, but like I was down for sure. I was down for sure. And these are, I mean, and on top of that, just to give people perspective, this is 2005. So it's not like I
Mm.
can FaceTime my boys, FaceTime my family.
It's
Like
different. Yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
I had to go buy calling cards, which was 20 pound a pop, gave you 100 minutes, and they go up like that to call my family. And there was no
Yeah,
social
remember that.
media. Facebook hadn't been launched yet. It was MySpace was just dropping.
And
So like,
MSN as well.
yeah, yeah. So like I wasn't in tune with the world. So I had no idea what was going on out there. So you add all of those things in, man, I was lonely. I was by myself, because like everybody on that team had already been overseas for years and they had their, girlfriends and lives, and it was just me. And, I was just by myself.
The
And
young
so,
kid.
yeah, just a young kid. So it was tough, man. It was. And,
And
and
then
that's
when
and
you
and that's one thing that people don't understand as well. Like when you think of an American playing overseas, like you have to factor that part in. It's just not about, oh, can this guy play? Like they have to be comfortable off the court. So if a player is with the team and their setup isn't right, like that's gonna affect their playing. If they're not comfortable off the court, they're not living in a nice home, the setup isn't right, that's gonna affect their on the court performance as well.
okay, and then the challenges you faced coming into Newcastle off the court, what did you experience with the culture there?
It was actually pretty easy because this time I'm moving with my wife, so I have a partner as us. We moved up here together. I had already knew. The only thing I had to learn was where was the best grocery stores to go near my area. Other than that, like I knew the places where to go, where to eat, all that. So the challenges wasn't that big. So like the transition was as smooth as you can be going to a new team. So it wasn't like a rookie that comes in and you have to learn all these different things, learn the money and all this stuff. Like I just had to get comfortable where I was living and what was near, how to get to practice and all that stuff. And that was about it.
So really, it was just about just getting your bearings right with a whole new area, as well as for the first time you had to learn everything, the currency, just the language, the culture, how people think. It's a whole new.
All of that,
I can
literally.
imagine that, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been well, you made it here this far, so that must have been challenging. But at the same time, look at those blessings, innit?
Yeah.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, man.
So but fast forward a little bit. You played in Commonwealth Games
Yeah.
for England, man.
Yeah, man.
Congrats on playing for the country and that. How did talk us through that whole experience, man? How did it start out, the tryouts, and then and what did you think of playing for
No, I'm
England?
speaking on here. Man, that experience was crazy because I didn't. Yes, honey. No, I'm not talking to her. Told y'all I got daddy duties, guys. Sorry about that. I'm a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I didn't even know about that situation. It wasn't like the summer I knew that England was going to be playing the Commonwealth. I literally found that out, got an email in like October, November that they were sending the team to the Commonwealth. So I went from, oh, this is interesting, got an email. I was like, yeah, I'll go down and go, try out, to actually making a team. But the whole experience was just, it was surreal, man. Like you had to really be there to understand. Like I tell people all the time, like the whole process leading up to being selected, it was like, it was like one of those shows with Simon Cowell where you got three judges, you're across the table and you're there waiting to hear your fate, and then you hear it and then you walk out the door. That's how we found out if we made it. And for me, I was proud because, I was 35 at the time and come in as a point guard and not really a point guard. So to be able to make that team was an honor, man. And then being out there, like that experience was just amazing, man. Like being in Australia, traveling Australia, and like being on a village, like the village experience is something that like you just, like I said, you have to be there to understand it. Like you see all these people that you see competing, like the netball girls who beat Australia, all this, but like you get the behind the scenes, everything you guys see is just on TV. So you might see the England netball girls win the gold and then hear the interviews and then boom, that's it. Well, we get to see everything after that. Like I was in the elevator with the girls because we lived on the same floor as they were going back to their rooms, and being able to see that raw emotion and being able to see people coming off winning medals, like the raw emotion behind the scenes was like crazy. And then like, the calf area where everybody's together eating, and just everybody is there together. It was crazy, man. It was surreal.
Well, was like all the national teams segregated together, or were they all over the place?
Well, so you had like these kind of like buildings, flats, I guess you would call it, where dorms. So every nationality had their own dorm. So we had our building, then the next door would be Australia, next door would be South Africa, whatever. So it was everybody in the same campus because the campus was really strict to get on. But we were all there. We were all in the same environment.
And then, so what kind of things you took from that whole experience, man, and what is it you brought it back to Newcastle?
Man, for me, like I made sure that I tried to enjoy the whole process in the moment. Like I made an effort to go watch all different sports. Like I seen ping pong, stuff that I wouldn't normally typically go watch or be entertained by. I went to go see it, beach volleyball, all that stuff. I just tried to take it all in because I knew, like for me, like I would never get that experience again. So I just tried to take it all in. And coming back from that, what I brought, I guess what I could say is just like being able to take things from different athletes that play at a higher level. Like I spoke to a lot of people and just kind of got into like what their process is for being at the top of their game, you know, and so taking all those different perspectives and kind of putting bits and pieces into what I already do. So I would say that's the biggest thing that I took is just like learning from other athletes.
Oh, that's good, man. So yeah, and then took that forward to Newcastle. That's great.
Yeah.
And also then talking of your team, I'm gonna go back to your team. There's a player we know very well down here in London, Mr. Darius Defoe.
Oh, Defoe, double D. Yeah, I mean,
Yo.
technically Darius is not even from London anymore. He's probably lived in Newcastle longer than
Yeah,
London. So I think on his birth certificate it says Newcastle. So
Newcastle now. He's
yeah,
changed it now.
I don't think he can rep New London anymore.
He's got the language. He's talking up. He's got the accent there now, is it? As well.
Oh yeah. He says like after everything, but freezing like, and he got the total Northeast accent.
So what was your relationship like with him though? Because considering he had been there from I think 16, and he just moved up, and then obviously he's worked his way up.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's been one of the leaders of the team now. So like, what was your relationship like with him?
Yeah.
And then going into Newcastle, what kind of thing did you want to bring to the table with him as well?
I mean, when I first got to Newcastle, we hit it off straight away. I mean, that's probably my closest friend on the team. Me, him, and Fletch, we're pretty tight.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my boy, man. We're really close. You know, work out together. We talk often on the phone and text and all that type of stuff. And yeah, man, he brings a lot of positive energy to the team. He's good banter. He's always smiling. You know, it's very rare that you see him down, and so his energy is always good. So, yeah, man, that's my boy. I mean, we're real close. We're real tight. I mean, I just actually spoke to him yesterday. We talked on the phone yesterday. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
doesn't live too far from you, I take it.
Yeah. That's my boy.
And then talking of you two, your relationship together, you've won 2 league championship titles, right?
Right.
And a playoff. Is it a playoff title as well?
We together, I think with him, I won, I think two trophies, 3 cups, 2 leagues.
3 cups and 2 leagues. So
three cups. 3 cups,
so
2 leagues, 2 trophies, or maybe 3 trophies. I don't know.
So out of those 3 cups, then which one would you reckon was the most challenging one, or which one was the most gratifying win?
The most gratifying, I would say, is probably, I would say 15, 16 when we won the clean sweep. I say that because it was like poetic justice. So my first year here, we play Leicester in the cup final, and we're up by 11 with 3 minutes to go. Leicester comes back and beat us. And I mean, that was tough, man. I probably won't ever forget that. Or I won't forget that game and how I felt after, man. It was Man, it was tough, and we were getting bashed by everybody. And then to flip it around 2 years later, you know, the tables are turned. Leicester is beating us by 17 midway through the third quarter, and then we go on a run, and then we go and, you know, and beat them. And so that was just like, that was really, really gratifying after what we went through 2 years ago. But, you know, all of them have been special because they've been with different people, different groups. I mean, this year was special just because of the way it fell and what happened and with COVID. So, but yeah, man, I like 15, 16 is dope. You know, this one's dope. You know, my first league title in 13 was dope. I mean, it was all great experiences.
And this is the thing, you was winning, and this is what you weren't experiencing in Plymouth, right? Because came to Newcastle, now you're winning all this stuff, so that must have been a good feeling. Like,
that's what I sacrificed. So I sacrificed. I mean, we won a trophy, the Plymouth's only trophy final, by the way. We won a trophy my second year there, but it wasn't known as like a winner. It was known as, you know, like the underdog, the new kids on the block. And now coming to Eagles, and I think I won 8 or 9 championships since I've been with them. It made everything that we decided in 2013, it was worth it.
That's good, man. That's good. That's a good journey so far. You've been on, so 15 years. Any more left in you yet? Still got some more left in.
You be the judge. You watched the trophy final. Do you think I got another year in me?
I think you got more left in you, bro.
I mean, I feel great, man. I take care of my body really well. I learned a lot of things from Fab. that you know, Fab played till he was 45. So not saying that I'm trying to play that long, but I think I
You never
still got a
know.
couple. Yeah, you know, I still got a couple. So I just take it year by year. I'm definitely plan on playing next year. So, you know, until someone, you know, moves
Do
me to the
something.
end of the bench where I'm a, bona fide cheerleader, then I guess I'll keep it going.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. Keep it up, man. Definitely love to see you out there, man.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a question I always ask all my guests that I have on the live is, what are your views on the British basketball and BBL, things that you see that are working and things that you think they need to work on a bit more?
Um, I feel like I've been in this league for 15 years, and I feel like every time I personally think we're about to turn the corner, the league doesn't. Like when I'm optimistic and I say, oh, okay, this is in place, this is in place. Like, you know, we used to be on, when I first got in the league, I can't even remember the name of the
Was it
telecom
Sky?
then. No, it wasn't Sky. What was it? I think it started with,
NTL?
nah, I can't even remember. Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, so I was like, okay. And then we moved, and then we got on Sky. Then I was like, okay. And then we got on BBC, and I was like, okay. And so like we've never been able to like use that momentum to really take off. But I
Yeah,
think like being on YouTube helps. That's big because that's a bigger reach. You know, you're reaching people in different countries, you're reaching the world, and that. So the YouTube coverage moving forward is big for the league. Um, yeah, I mean,
someone said it here. Santana, I think it is.
Yeah,
That name.
Santana Sports. Yeah, Ishmael. Yeah, what's up, Ishmael? Yeah, Santana Sports. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I feel like every time we have an opportunity to kind of launch forward, like we take a step back. But I think what the league needs to do is they need to really like start promoting stars, promoting villains, promoting rivalries, because like we need a storyline. Like if you say, okay, like I don't know, like Fletcher versus Justin Robinson, and these guys hate each other, and every time they play, you build that story up about how they don't like each other. You know, so that's what I
Definitely.
mean. So you got to build. So somebody in the league needs to be a villain, like a Dennis Rodman. You know what I mean? Like a Dennis Rodman, he was known as a villain. Everybody, they love to hate him, but that creates a storyline. Everybody wants to tune into that game, right? So if you create
Definitely.
stars, you know, your best British players, and really market them and have them plastered around everywhere, that's attractive. So I think we're just missing out on the marketing aspect. Once we get that down, that will be able to help the league.
I've said this in every single one of my talks. I was gonna say it just now. The marketing needs to be more effective. And you
Yeah,
just said everything that I've said in all my talks. So
yeah,
I
for
agree
sure.
on that. I think the market needs to be effective. Like you said as well, I think there should be a lot more interaction with players off the court as well as on the court. So,
Yeah,
some more trash talk would be good as well. You know what I mean? Someone
yeah.
said you could be the villain, Miss Lasker.
Nah, I'm not a villain. I don't want to be the villain. I just
But
want to
yeah,
play basketball and go home.
it's true because there's loads of people out there that you could pick out as villains, and probably most players wouldn't even mind being that playing that
Yeah,
role.
that's
They
that's
might thrive off
person.
that.
Yeah, that's personalities. Like I know you got Mike Tuck on later. Like Mike Tuck is a perfect villain because he's. I mean, that's my roomie. But
Yeah,
on the court, he's push. You know, he's pushing and shove. Like
yeah, I've seen it.
Mike Tuck could be a great villain on the court. Maybe even Defoe. Defoe is kind of a, yeah, York,
Yeah,
exactly right.
really
You're trying
work.
to.
There's loads,
There's a lot
man.
of person, not meaning that like they're a bad guy. They have a person. They just have the personality on the court that can, and I guarantee if you start
Yeah,
promoting them as a villain, they'll start playing into it.
they play into the role.
Yeah, they're
That's
playing
what
into the right because that's
like
what's
they did it with a little bit with New York and like the New York and Miami Heat rivalry in the 90s where
exactly.
New York was that villain and they had Spiro was a villain and all of that, and then you had the Heat were trying to be the good team and they were just fighting
I,
like you want to watch that.
I mean, you can even do that with Newcastle and Leicester because like we really do hate each other on the court, and you just
Yeah,
blow that up like these teams when they match up, it's gonna be some blood and sweat tears on the
yeah,
court.
yeah.
Just like really pump it up. Because I
And
mean, we
I'm,
got Rachel in the comments, and we always fighting each other during the game. Shout out to Rachel; she's a
yeah.
Leicester Rider fan, and we're always bantering. But yeah, it's good fun. It's all in
It's
the
good.
game of
It's fun.
sport.
It's all in the game, man. And I
Yeah,
think as well, what they should have done more as well with Justin being English and winning the MVP twice would have been a way to. They should have pushed that out so much for everyone to, see that there's an English player who's become an MVP. You know what I mean? It would have been
right.
great for them as well.
I agree,
And
especially because he's in London. Like you could have been
and from
pushing
London as
him.
well.
Yeah, you could have pushed him all throughout the summer because during the summer the Americans go. He's still here, so he could still be the face of the British Basketball League in the off season to keep the momentum.
Yeah. He could have went to the camps, talked to the kids at the camps, went to some of the schools. It would have worked perfectly. But
Exactly.
But that's one of the things I've noticed British basketball. I always feel it's going to turn and then all of a sudden it doesn't materialize the way I think it should be. So I know it should be bigger than what it is right now, but hopefully things can turn around.
Yeah.
Another question before we get into hotspot questions. So, favorite pre-game meal and post-game meals?
Oh, pre-game meal. You know what? I used to be really, really what's the word I'm thinking of? I used to always have to do the same thing before games, but now, I'm not really too much bothered on that anymore. I like to eat like chicken, rice, maybe fish, like something really, really light, peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but I'm not too strict anymore. Like I used to be real big on that stuff early in my career. Now I eat whatever's there. Afterwards, I'm not too strict on that stuff anymore.
Yeah. At that time of your career now.
Yeah, exactly. I just,
Fair enough.
All
right, we've got my hotspot questions. One of my favorite parts of this talks. So you got two 3-part questions. So the first part question is a player you loved playing with, a player you loved playing against, and a funny teammate.
The player playing with is what anybody I played with before that I like playing with.
Anyone you can pick, man. Anyone.
Hey, come on, Pete. This isn't a writer's live Instagram. He's trying to promote the Leicester writers already get enough promotion. They don't need any.
Yo, man. I've got writers coach on tomorrow, Pete. Check us out tomorrow, bro. I got Rob on tomorrow.
Yeah, shout out to 5 or 6. But man, I mean, that's pretty easy. I had to go with Fletch. I mean, I know being on the floor with Fletch and having him on my team, I know I got a really good chance of winning. And I know when things get tight and get in a crunch that he can make plays. So, I like playing with Fletch just because I know he's a winner and I know he can get it done when it matters the most.
Okay.
Playing against. That I love playing against. Oh, well that question is different now because I'm a role player. So like there's not really a matchup for me, but when I was the guy, like I liked playing against York because York was a villain, because back then York was like shooting from half court. He was averaging 20. I like playing against him. And you know who I like playing against back then? I used to like playing against the Milton Keynes because they had Robert Youngblood, they had Tony Winless, they had Sean Jameson, and those guys they used to try to bully us. Like they tried to bully. Yeah, there was many times like I almost got in a fight with Youngblood. Literally every time I played Youngblood, we almost got into a fight. And you know what I mean? I wasn't backing down from it. Like I'd go through the cup. Youngblood hit me, Winless hit me, Sean Jameson hit me, and I get right back up, and I'd be like, hey, I'm coming again. So I used to, because they were older, they were on the end of their career, and I used to love playing against those old dudes, man. That was fun.
I could imagine that. Youngblood, I know Youngblood a little
Trying
bit,
to make a name for myself, so yeah, man. Yeah, bro.
Not Robert, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And they said a funny teammate.
Oh, Darius Defoe is hilarious. Like like I said, he always keeps the mood light. He's always finding something to laugh and giggle about. So yeah, Darius is definitely one of the funniest guys on the team. And then back in my younger days, people don't know I used to like playing with Galen Moore. He
Okay.
was a funny guy as well. He played at Worthing before he came to Plymouth, so he's a funny guy. But yeah,
All right.
everyone has their little banter in their own way. I would
Yeah,
say Darius is
definitely.
the most consistent because it's every day.
Every
But
day, yeah.
every
You're gonna
day,
get
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Like you can't wait to go to practice because you know he's gonna do
He
something
always
funny.
got something, man.
Yeah.
He always got something.
And then the next three-part question was is opposite. So say a player you didn't like playing with. So not necessarily someone you didn't like or you hated. You might just not like playing with them. There could be a friend and you still don't like playing with them, whichever you prefer to choose. A player you
Right.
didn't like playing against, so like your kryptonite, and
Hmm.
a funny opponent.
Man, those are tough. A teammate I didn't know? You trying to get me called out? A teammate I didn't
Or it could
like
be in a,
playing.
could be a scrimmage. You could be in a scrimmage with a certain player, and you're like, oh, damn.
You know what? I never had a problem with any teammate. It was one teammate that I had a problem with. I won't say his name, but
Yeah.
basically it got to the point where I told the coach, I said it's either him or me. We got to get rid of him. And shout out to coach. He fired him a couple days later, but he was just it wasn't really the on the court stuff. It was mostly the
Yeah,
off the court
of
stuff, and he
course.
wasn't that good on the court. So it we couldn't put up. Sometimes like
Yeah,
players, if they're good enough, like you put up with some of their BS.
like
But
Rodman, like
yeah,
Rodman, you know what he's like off the court, but you know what he's gonna bring on the
if
court, so
you're
you
giving
can.
me 20 rebounds, I got to put up with your stuff.
Yeah,
But if you're giving me 2 rebounds and 4 points, like I'm not about to be putting up with all that. You know what I mean? So, that does matter.
true
So
though.
it's not
If
fair.
you're
There's
giving me
no
20
such thing.
rebounds, it's true.
Yeah,
Give me 20 rebounds, I say nothing. I'll deal with it for the
we'll
whole
deal
year.
with it. So, sports isn't fair, guys. So everyone isn't treated equally.
That's
Please
true.
know that. It all
I
depends on,
love that.
it's all performance based.
Um,
So yeah, so someone I didn't like playing against, I would have to say, probably, Bernardini and who am I thinking about? I mean, a lot of those Connor Washington,
well,
because
Washington, all right.
Connor is just he's always there. And in 2013, he was a big part of why we lost because he was all up in my grill, and I just kind of gave him the stiff for him, and he flew back, and we got our offensive call. So,
Oh,
but he's always there. He's like a pest. So, you know,
all
I
right.
hated playing against Connor.
Well, shout out Connor and
Yeah,
then a
shout out to
funny
Connor
opponent.
Washington. A funny opponent.
Yeah, yeah.
A funny opponent. I would have to say, man, I'd have to go back to York on that because, like, even now, like on the court, he always has like he talks about the most random stuff like during the game, and I won't even tell you the stuff he talked about during our early years, but
Oh,
he was random, man. He was random. Like he was kind of like
Manchester.
Lance Stevenson, like how Lance blowing on
Oh, yeah,
LeBron
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
but he wasn't doing that type of stuff. But he would just be talking about
I
wild
remember
stuff.
Yurik was funny, man. I remember him
Yeah,
when he was growing up, man. He did random things like that, man. He was
he
just,
was random, man. He's still random. He's still random. So
I watched him play against, who did he play against? Sheffield. And yeah, it was just funny. He was the same, right? Like, look, refs don't even bother him. They don't give him text too tough because they know what he's like. They know
yeah,
they know what they're gonna get from him. So it's like, oh, here we go, Yurik again. He's complaining, or
yeah,
say something silly. Oh,
yeah.
why are you flopping? He don't just give him a whistle because he flops. What's wrong with him? It was just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, York Williams, man. Yeah, for sure.
that's another legend there, definitely, man,
Yeah,
definitely. Right,
absolutely.
anyone who's tuned in, if you got any questions for Drew, fire them in now. We still got time. And Drew, do you have any questions for myself while we're on here?
Who did you play for?
Me,
Did you play?
highest, pardon? Yeah, I played.
Uh-huh.
Highest level, I played Division 3 at Leeds Carnegie.
Oh, okay. That wasn't with
So
Albert Margai, was it?
Albert was in Division 1 team. So he was the Division 1 team. With him and Laddie, they were Division 1. I was the second team, which is Division 3.
Okay, yeah, I know
And I
about.
played the Bradford Dragons for a bit as well. So that was some good times there.
Oh,
Leeds was
okay.
really good, man. Really good. I was there for 8 years, so it was a
Oh,
good city.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever have
So
aspirations of playing in the BBL Division One?
you know what? I never really did, you know. at
Yeah.
times I did want to go Europe once in my career, but never materialized in that. And obviously I didn't work as hard as I should have. But
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I didn't really play. My brother played in BBL though, so
Yeah.
he played London United at one point, Essex
Who's your
Pirate,
brother?
Marcus Knight. So he played as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, yeah. So he
Yeah.
played at that level, and he played in Germany. So
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's your brother. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Small world, man. London United, man. Didn't they
Yeah.
have like? Didn't they have like Tanner, Dude, Jamel Anderson, all those guys on that? Or was that
They were
London?
Essex
Essex.
Pirates. They were
Essex.
Essex Pirates. Tyler was at Essex. Yeah, Jamal
Yeah.
Anderson was at Essex.
Oh, London United. That's when they had. Man, they had a nice two guard there. I can't remember his name.
You jump out the building, innit?
Oh man, he was nice.
Tyreek
I mean,
Johnson.
that's it.
Yeah,
He was sick. He
you
was
can
nice.
jump. I remember my brother was like, you can jump high, you know. I was like,
Uh,
no, you can't. I said, all right, whatever. And then I watched him. I was like, oh, he was floating. I thought he was floating for a bit. I was like, wait, is he gonna come down or not? Like,
yeah, he had some game, man. I like this game. I like this game.
I don't know what happened to him after. I don't know if he went Europe. He played one
I
year.
think
And
I
then,
followed him for a little bit. I think he played a couple of places after, but then, I haven't looked at Eurobasket in like 10 years. I stopped looking at Eurobasket. I used to, you check on that, see what guys doing, where they're playing,
yeah.
but yeah, he was nice with it.
Yeah, man, it was dope, man. It was dope, man. What's Robert Fletcher like? I've never really seen him play fully. What's it like playing with him? I know you mentioned it already, though. I've never seen him properly play yet. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
other than
a
that one time.
he's a smooth little lefty. I mean, I remember when he first got here in 2014. No one could stop him getting to his left. They still can't. But like for someone who's so small, like I had that whole year, I didn't see him get a shot block once. Like the whole year, like
Yeah.
he was a magician as far as like being able to get his body into a defender and then like extending that arm where they couldn't get it. And like I promise you, he didn't get it blocked and he didn't miss a layup the whole season. That
How
first
many
year
times? How many times have you seen him get blocked before?
I mean, this year he got blocked a couple of times. I mean, I see him get blocked now. I just mean like when he first,
Yeah.
during his younger years, like he would never get it blocked. And he got a nice little touch with that little left hand. Yeah, man, I mean, no one can stop him going left, even though the scouting report is not to let him go left. And I remember when we first practiced, because like I test out guys. I like to guard New Americans because I want to see how good they really are or how good they advertise. Because most
Yeah.
of the time they're not really as good as they've been advertised. But
That
I remember,
happened.
he came in and like he got to the free throw line and he set me up with a little hezzo, but
Yeah.
I didn't go for it. I stayed with it, and then he hit me with an in and out and came back to a hezzo, and I leaped out, and then I was like, whoa, a double hezzo. I was like, okay, yeah, he can play. It's always like
Nice.
that. It's always like a one move that a player do, and you'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, they could play.
I think there's another guy I like, American, I like from Bristol, Fred Thomas.
Yeah. Fred Thomas is nice, like
I like
long.
that.
He likes
Oh,
to fade. He got a nice little fadeaway jumper.
he's nice, man.
Yeah, somebody's
Yeah, you got a
asking,
question. Yeah, someone got you a question.
what's the best thing about the Eagles community arena and anything you would change about it? I mean, the best thing is that we have our own home. Like, that's priceless. Control your time. Like, this year was the first time in my entire career that I had morning practices. My whole career, I've been practicing from 8 to 10 p.m., which is horrible. It's horrible.
That's for like when you're trying to get into basketball times, man. Like you shouldn't be doing that as a professional.
You
like,
wait all day for practice, and when practice comes, you're actually tired from doing nothing and waiting. It like really holds you back from doing other things. It's awful, and then you don't get to bed till like 3 o'clock in the morning because by the time you get home, you eat, you wind down. Like for your body, you're not functioning properly. But so this year we practiced in the morning for the first time. And it's a huge difference. But yeah, so having an arena to be able to do that is great. And there's nothing that I would probably change about it. Maybe if they put like a jacuzzi and steam room in like the locker room, that would be perfect.
yeah, definitely. You're professionals, man. You definitely,
Exactly. Our own cubby holes with our own flat screen TVs. I mean, other than that, it's cool.
So having your own arena, can you like train anytime? So if you want to go work on your game, you can go to the court anytime and work out as well.
Not anytime because they do a lot of community stuff, but there's a lot of time throughout the day where we can get in work. Like there's opportunity there. It might be like pockets that's consistent,
Yeah.
so we always
Okay.
know during this time we can, but it's not like it's all day because they got they're a community arena, so they're doing a lot of stuff in the community and got those courts being used.
Someone else. Yes, I can save this. Whoever's asked that, I can save this. I will be saving it so you can watch it afterwards.
Mhm.
So that. All right, man. That's been dope, man. Drew, man, been a pleasure, man, having you here, man. I know you got some workouts coming
Yeah,
up.
we got I got an online camp over Zoom, so I'm running that, so I got to get prepared for that in an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No
man.
problem. All right, man. No worries, man. Appreciate that. Oh, got one
Yeah.
more. You are amazing at basketball, and basketball is my favorite sport.
Oh, appreciate it, Mia. Appreciate it.
No worries. All right, Drew, man, I'll let you get ready for your classes, man, and I appreciate you coming out and coming on live with me, man.
No
Been a
doubt,
pleasure
man.
having you on.
My pleasure. Appreciate it.
And bye, little lady.
All right, see you, man. Thanks for having me on,
Yeah, man.
Chris.
No worries, man. Thanks, Drew,
All
man.
right, peace out.
And everyone else who tuned in, see you later.
Peace.
Peace.
Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris. Everything Chris.
Yes, I'm Chris G, host of Everything Chris. Hope you liked that video. If you did, click that like button. Also leave a comment. And also, if you want to see more, click that subscribe button to get a notification when we upload new content every single time. I hope you enjoyed that video and I hope you stay tuned for some more. And also, as you know with me, everything's always Chris.